So yeah, along with the fire that the teams received from the NASCAR loyalists and all that, the people that were devoted to the sport, they also were heavily victimized by comments from Larry McReynolds, one of the longtime NASCAR broadcasters and an ex-crew chief of many wins from Dale Earnhardt to Mike Skinner and a few other drivers over the years. And he said some comments that made me absolutely cringe when I heard them. Like what he said was he said 2311 and Front Row Motorsports are trying to disrupt the way NASCAR has done business for 76 and a half years. We've got an organization that's been here not even 4 years that all of a sudden is saying we got to change the way NASCAR's run. I'm all about change. Change is what makes you better. But you know what? When I see Richard Childress, Jack Roush, Rick Hendrick, and Joe Gibbs that's been here longer than some of these guys have been yellow and they signed off and said, this is good, we're okay. There's things we don't like about it, but we're going to do what's best for the sport and best for our business. And they signed off on it. And these people that have either been not competitive or only been here for 4.5 years have been saying we've done business for 76 and a half years incorrectly. And he said, as far as Michael Jordan, he said that it's a hideous statement in my book about using the word unfair. What do you mean unfair? Could you clarify a little bit of unfair? Things that NASCAR has done over the last decade is about as fair could be to all parties involved, including our fans. Competitive, we've had 18 different winners this year. Come on with the competitive. Front Row Motorsports is only suing because 2311 needed a buddy. They haven't been competitive enough. When I heard all those comments, I'm sure that you probably may have had similar feelings that I did, but when I heard those comments when the lawsuit played out, I was like, damn, Larry McReynolds, telling a team that's been in the sport since 2005 and has made significant championship improvement in Front Row Motorsports is not competitive enough. And I was like, dude, at Phoenix Raceway in 2013, I called Front Row Motorsports Back Row Motorsports because of their start and park days, and the next week they win at Talladega and proved me wrong. And I was like, when I saw them win, I was happy for them, and I was like, maybe the Back Row Motorsports comment helped them. And when I heard more into what Larry said about how everybody else signed the charter agreement when 2311 and Front Row did, and then hearing about how he thinks that NASCAR shouldn't change because they've run a business for the way they did for 76 and a half years, and that a team that's only been in there for like a few years is now asking them to be more fair. I remember reading that, and I had the exact same cringe feeling that I did a few years ago when I saw the movie A Few Good Men for the first time. And I was in the living room watching Jack Nicholson gloat to Tom Cruise, you better ask me nicely. And then the whole, if my company wants a code red, they're going to get a code red, or whatever he said in the scene, even though it was an illegal order. And I remember feeling the same way with the whole, you can't handle the truth
Hmm.
monologue.
Yep.
And I just remember hearing Larry's comments and being like, am I listening to Colonel Jessup talking about the 2311 lawsuit? Because that made me cringe as much as I did watching those scenes.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And it's crazy when he said that. It's almost like he's critiquing Tom Brady. You don't do that when
Mhm.
this charter has so many successes. I also cringed and it was hilarious.